Lucy Letby, the crime story of a serial killer nurse. How would you describe the action of a nurse murdering patients she's entrusted with? Did you say horrible? That'd be an understatement. This isn't an impossibility, it really happened. This is the crime story of a serial killer nurse, Lucy Letby. Who is Lucy Letby? She's been featured in one of our videos about the 4 UK women jailed for life without parole. Since the video discusses 4 of them, we're unable to give you her crime story in detail. In this video, we'll look at who Lucy Letby is, her background, her venture into crime, her arrest and sentencing, and her life behind bars. You'll next have the opportunity to share your own thoughts on her notorious crime story. Her humble background. Lucy Letby was born 4th of January 1990 in Hereford, Herefordshire. Lucy had a very difficult birth. According to a friend who had known her since days in secondary school, she was grateful for being alive and acknowledged the role of nurses who must have helped save her life. She's the only child born to a finance manager and an accounts clerk. As a child, she received her early education at Aylestone School, followed by Hereford Sixth Form College. We can't find anything in her background that would have suggested that she'd ever become a sadistic killer. Based on her friend's testimony, Lucy developed an interest in nursing and wanted to make it a career out of appreciation for the nurses who helped her to live when she was completely helpless. Thus, she did everything within her power to qualify to practice as a nurse. She gained admission into the University of Chester to pursue her education in nursing. Lucy worked 3 years at the university as a student nurse during her years of training. She graduated in September 2011, carrying out placements at both Liverpool Women's Hospital and the Countess of Chester Hospital. Venturing into crime. She began working as a registered neonatal nurse in 2012 at the Countess of Chester Hospital. In a 2013 staff profile, which we were able to see, her responsibility included caring for a wide range of babies requiring various levels of support. She was profiled as enjoying seeing them progress. She was also good at supporting their families. She went as far as taking part in a campaign to raise more funds for the provision of a new neonatal unit at the hospital. She had already won the trust of all before she began perpetrating the heinous crimes that occurred between 2015 and 2016. She committed the first crime on the 8th of June 2015. That was when the first suspicious case occurred. In all, she murdered 7 babies and made attempts to kill 6 or 7 others. She preyed on the vulnerabilities and helplessness of sick newborns and the worry and anxiousness of their parents. She was described by the prosecutors as an opportunist who was targeting sick children. She was even accused of killing one infant just to get the attention of a doctor she had a feeling for. Her heinous crimes. At 8 p.m. on the 8th of June 2015, a healthy baby boy, a twin, was being cared for on a ward, and Lucy Letby was the designated nurse as the boy had been handed over to her after she started her night shift. The paediatric registrar clocked off when Lucy was 30 minutes into her shift. However, 26 minutes later, she called a doctor that the baby's state was rapidly deteriorating. Some 1.5 hours later, the baby died. A few days later, another boy in good condition suddenly died. The boy collapsed as soon as Lucy was sighted at the nursery. Though not the designated nurse for the child, Lucy was seen standing over his monitor. His alarm sounded when the designated nurse came back in. The shift leader told Lucy to focus on her designated patient and steer clear of other patients. About 28 hours later, the twin sister of the dead baby also collapsed and was resuscitated. After the death of the first baby, the parents spent the whole day with the second one in the nursery. However, Lucy persuaded them to go and rest. Suddenly, their second baby crashed. Tests carried out on these babies later revealed loops of gas-filled bowel in the child. The conclusion of the inquiry was that Lucy had injected the twins with air. She had fed the second baby 25 minutes before the collapse. Also, the second baby had on her skin the same unusual rash as first seen on the first child hours earlier. she murdered another baby girl on 22nd of June 2015. Hours before the baby died, she was seen hovering around before the child collapsed 3 times that morning. In an attempt to save the child, it was noticed that the girl's skin had been discoloured. A post-mortem X-ray revealed a striking line of gas in the spine, leading to the conclusion that air was being injected into the bloodstream. That could not be natural, as similar deaths have been recorded. She took a similar action at about 9 p.m. on the 3rd of August. When the mother of the baby came to feed her baby with the expressed breast milk, she noticed some distress as she was alarmed by a scream. Lucy trivialised the situation rather than helping. She discarded the bleeding as merely being from a rubbing feeding tube, giving false assurances to the mother to calm down. The baby died early hours of the second day. Other infanticides occurred on 7th of September 2015, 23rd of October 2015 and 9th of April 2016, among others. In all these deaths, either high levels of insulin or air were found in their blood, and Lucy was present and about at the time. So she murdered them by overfeeding them, injecting them with air, poisoning them with insulin, or assaulting them with medical tools. Initial investigations into the role of Lucy Letby. Doctors at the hospital were no longer comfortable with the noticeable spike in the number of dying babies and infants that were unexpectedly collapsing in the neonatal unit of the hospital. The government of the UK issued an independent inquiry into these deaths that could be considered as murders. They also included how regulators and the BNHS, Britain's National Health Service, have handled the concerns raised by consultants. The hospital's management initially dismissed those concerns raised by clinicians over the spike in infant mortality rate, especially among patients under Lucy's care. Yet lawyers for the victims' families said the inquiry wasn't good enough since it lacked the powers to summon witnesses. In 2016, she won a grievance complaint against her employers who had elected to have her investigated. She was actually scheduled to return to her duties at the neonatal department in March of the following year. The return, however, didn't take place, so the hospital trust and management contacted the police and an investigation was opened. Arrest and prosecutions. On 3rd of July 2018, Lucy was arrested by police following a year-long investigation of 8 counts of murder and 6 counts of attempted murder. Her home at Chester was searched by police while she was in custody. Their investigation was also extended to another location at which she had worked, Liverpool Women's Hospital. Lucy was released on bail on 6th of July 2018. She was rearrested on the 10th of June 2019 and granted bail again on 13th of June. This time it was on suspicion of 8 cases of murder and 9 cases of attempted murder. As evidence was mounting up, the Nursing and Midwifery Council placed her on an interim suspension on 13th of March 2020. Again, in November 2020, Lucy was arrested, now with tens of thousands of pieces of evidence. She was charged this time with 8 counts of murder and 10 counts of attempted murder. She denied all the 22 accusations, but was this time denied bail. She instead blamed the deaths on the hospital staffing level and poor level of hygiene. She was ordered to be remanded in police custody. The Crown Prosecution Service, sanctioned, believed that all charges against her. Trial and convictions. Trial on Lucy's case began on 10th of October 2022 at Manchester Crown Court before Mr Justice Goss. She pleaded not guilty to 7 counts of murder and 15 counts of attempted murder. She was accused by prosecutors of getting a thrill out of killing babies and playing God with those placed in her care. On 10th of July 2023, following a 9-month trial, the jury decided to adjourn the hearing to 8th of August. The final verdicts were made public on the 18th of August. She was found guilty of 7 counts of murder of 7 babies and attempted murder of 6. On the 21st of August 2023, Lucy Letby was sentenced to life imprisonment, a whole life order. She became the 4th woman in the UK crime story to be given the most severe sentence possible under English law. It's over to you now in conclusion. What are your thoughts on the story of Lucy Letby, the crime story of a serial killer nurse? Please share them with us. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.